Trenton Journal is for people who won't take no for an answer. Trenton Journal is for community leaders. Trenton Journal is for people who won't settle. Trenton Journal highlights some of the positive voices in the community and fills in the information gaps through original reporting.
Welcome to Capital Conversations. I'm your host, Kenneth Miles, founder and publisher of the Trenton Journal. Each episode, we bring change makers and community leaders, people who are making an impact in the capital city. Today, I have with me Trenton Orbit co-founders Mike Ranallo and Bill Kearny. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. So listen, it was funny. I told you that you two were on my wish list, and you said that.
I said, most people don't have us on their wish list. It's like inviting 60 Minutes in. People get a little nervous. But thank you for that. We do appreciate it. And I just want to jump off by saying we're thrilled to be here. We want people in Trenton to know that we're real people, that we have full-time real jobs. We do this Trenton Orbit thing on our own time, unpaid. We don't really have an agenda. We're not looking to get elected. We're not pushing any big projects. We're not trying to acquire land or anything here. We are truly residents who just want the best for our city. And there's a lot of hatred and anger and vitriol that gets thrown our way because we do challenge the status quo. But that's really our mission, is to really make sure that Trenton performs at its best. And if it means we got to go through some painful stuff, then that's what it means, and we'll have to deal with it. But our hearts are in the right place. We want better for everyone. This isn't personal. We can do better. Everyone around us is doing better, and we deserve the same here.
You two are doing some amazing things in the city, and you're providing a platform for people to engage and to address issues that they feel that is important to them. How did Trenton Orbit begin?
In 2020, there was an event at Trenton City Hall, and word was passed to us that the FBI is raiding Trenton City Hall.
Multiple sources, including council.
Very credible people, council
and police.
People, police sources. So we said, okay, we'll run with this. And we put it out there, and it was on another Trenton-centric Facebook page. It turns out it wasn't the FBI, it was the SCI. And so, it blew up in our faces because it wasn't the FBI, but, we were correct. There was an event
What is
at
the
City,
SCI?
State Commission of Investigation. Mm-hmm. And that actually happened. So the owners of that former page were kind of getting ready to shut it down anyway. They had run it for a year or two, I think, or maybe longer.
A couple
actually,
years, yeah. So
they shut it down. And we took a lot of flack for that. And I was going to bring that today because I thought you might ask for it. It was on the cover of the Trentonian. The headline was FB Lie, and it was aimed at the two of us. But it was correct. So we talked and we're like, we should keep something running that's Trenton-centric and government-focused. And we just started, Bill came up with a name, and we started Trenton Orbit.
They closed the other page down on a Friday, the day the paper came out. And by Monday, we'd come up with a name, and Mike and I were the first two members of Trenton Orbit. Mm-hmm. And we literally just started promoting, inviting friends, inviting people in the city who were on the other page that we thought were engaged. And we kind of grew from there. We've grown steadily. We've kind of hit kind of a plateau of just under 11,000. Yeah. But that's okay because there's only a certain number of engaged local people. And we do have a lot of members from the 3 townships. But we're not about having 500,000 members. That doesn't do it. There's not that many people that live in Trenton. I'd rather have the 10,000 that we do, especially because less than 10,000 people actually voted in the last election. I'm not saying we have influence, but we do have influence over issues as far as educating people, discussing about the issues, and not relying solely on propaganda or news releases that are put out to the public. We dare to ask the questions beyond it, the questions that weren't answered, or the questions that are just hanging out there that need to be addressed. Not to get people in trouble, but really as a way for fuller, more transparent governance. we're not idiots on our page. People pay attention. They learn. We've seen people come along and own this power themselves, that it's not going to get done by itself. If you want something done, you have to take your own action.
I think that's the page has evolved in the last 5 years, 5.5 now. It used to be pretty irreverent, kind of a sharp sense of humor, but we've sort of moved away from that. And now it's an issue-based page. And people can come there, they can get information, they can post a question, people from City Hall read it, and they answer the question almost immediately, which to me is great. And I think when people see that, they can, it's a safe space for people to come. It can get sharp there, and it can get a little zesty, once
We are
in a while.
in New Jersey, after all.
Yeah. But I think we've evolved to be a place to get information, to find out what's happening. There's a lot of people that trust us with information that they can't say themselves. And, I think we've gained a reputation now for not saying who those people are. We would never put something out there that somebody gave us and said, oh, this person said this. So a lot of the information that we get, we vet, and if it's true, we put it out there. And if it's good or bad or ugly, it's public information. The public should know about it. I don't necessarily like being poked at and said, oh, these guys over on Trenton Orbit, these, couple of agitators just causing trouble. Because it's not true, right? It's simply not true.
What do you contribute to the page success?
People, the people that got involved and stuck with the page. Our readership is vast. If you look through the membership, you'll see a lot of influential people follow the page. News agencies follow the page and pick stories up from there.
Members of state government,
Yeah.
Senate, people in the state and federal Senate, everyone looks at it. It's just another resource to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
The difference between us and a lot of the other traditional media, whether it's online or print, or video for that matter, is that, we stay very true to our editorial concept, and as such, we've evolved more to be more traditional media. We don't allow our members to put up allegations without proof. We used to get into kind of trouble for that. I heard this, I heard that. But we said, if we're going to have credibility, we have to have the receipts to back it up. Not always do those receipts get published, but we need to know, because we don't want something to be put out there that'll ruin the credibility of the page. Luckily, of all the people on our page, we have very little in the way of problems or fights or anything else. Right. Occasionally we do. They're usually people who are new to the page, or they don't know what the page is about. Some people hang in the background and they say, oh, I have something to promote. I'm going to drop an ad on this big page for Trenton. We don't really take that kindly. If it's one of our people who are always engaged and they want to promote something, yeah, we'll do that. But first and foremost, we're an issue. We're the virtual town square. It's a way for people to quickly bring visibility to something, whether it's a crashed car in the North Ward or something doesn't look right in the West Ward. What's nice is the people who live there will glom onto it and say, I saw this, I saw that, I called this one, I called that one. And it's really become kind of an ombudsman for the city of Trenton. If people are frustrated, whether it's, I can't find my long lost dad, I lost or found a pet, these people are playing their music too loud, I have a house that's falling down near me, when are they going to pave this road?
Streets flooded, water main break.
Right, we facilitate that stuff, and oftentimes that's the first way the administration or the directors find out about it. We're not playing gotcha, but this is where they come first. And usually when they post something, the next question is, did anyone call the department? We believe that each department has the right to try to do their job and do it well.
What does it take to moderate the Facebook page?
A lot.
Okay, you say a lot, but really, some people may not know that you have lives and careers outside of running Trenton Orbit. What goes on with the day-to-day of moderating Trenton Orbit between the two of you?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
My morning will start, I'll get up before I go to work and I'll check the page. I'll weed out spam ads.
Around what time? Morning.
6 o'clock.
Okay.
So I'll look at spam ads that we don't want on the page. We go through the membership list. We look at each person that joins the page because they have to answer some membership questions, which are pretty easy. So any fake profiles don't get accepted. I'll scan the page.
We've got them, though.
Yeah.
And we're not a problem because we have nothing to hide. There's a lot of people who won't come on our page, but they're there with fake profiles, and that's fine. Welcome.
Yep. We'll look at posts that went up overnight, try to weed out any profanity or, stuff like that. I mean, if you look at the page, it's not spam filled. It's not a community bulletin board because we didn't want it to be that. And if somebody approaches us and like Trenton Skates, they do events at Cowboy Park, and they came to us and said, "Hey, can we promote on your page?" And we're like, "Yes, please do." Other people will promote, and just to get it up there. And we don't like that because if we allow it and we allow somebody to do it, we can't tell somebody else no because you let this other person do it. So we just sort of weed them all out because we don't want it to be like the first 20 posts on the page are ads. People will just lose interest.
Right. It's about the content. It's
Yeah.
about issues primarily. In the case of Trenton Skates, we saw a woman who had an interest and someone who liked good music and dancing, turned it into a couple of people into something that became a weekly event that became very crowded. And I'm not going to say it's because of Orbit, but I'd like to think we had a hand in it. Because we did promote it among people who want these kinds of events. And it really was an organic thing that sprung up and was successful by itself without having, city money having to underwrite it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that any event we post, my personal feeling is like, I would never say that we're responsible for the success of the event. If the person turns it into a seasonal thing and it's very successful, that's on them.
They did the work.
Yeah, they did the
Right.
work. We didn't do anything.
Now, Bill, some of your detractors, critics, may say that, you're grumpy old uncles. I think that's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Some accuse you of being racist. You have some accuse the people who engage on Trenton Orbit as not being, from Trenton, or
Right.
Trentonians living in the city. What do you say to your detractors?
I'm over it.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years, and people can say whatever they want. People that know me, great. If you want to come at us and call us agitators of the grumpy aunts and uncles page or the my tire hit a pothole on the world is ending page, I don't care. You can say what you want. You're entitled to your opinion. That's
We've been through that ringer for the
Yeah.
first 3 years where we were called every name in the book. We had a city council who voted unanimously to pass a resolution to have the Congress of the United States and the president shut down Trenton Orbit because it was getting in the way of political discourse. In fact, if it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be political discourse. It would just be propaganda. So, we don't worry about that. I can't worry about it.
No.
We both know we're not racist. We chose to live in Trenton. We've chose to live here for over 30, 35 years. I said, I'm not leaving anywhere. I said, I just want it to work better. That's all.
Yeah.
We have to follow the rules at our job. We have to pay our taxes. We keep our properties clean. We don't see why everyone else doesn't have to do that too. That's all. It's only going to result in a better city for all of us. Racism, it's in the eye of the beholder. Everybody's a racist. In Trenton, if they disagree with you. Everyone's in attack mode if you ask a question. So, we have thick skin. We don't let it bother us. It's not something we like to hear, but we don't agree with it. And if you don't really have an actual reason why you don't like us, you don't like what we do, that's fine. But to just call us names, it just doesn't have any impact on us.
It did used to bother me. It got under my skin a lot at the beginning because, I have family that sees it. I have friends that see it. Co-workers might see it. And
Same here.
Yeah, I used to get my back up and get really defensive about it. But then you start to see that it generally comes from the same people. And over time, you just grow a thicker skin and you're like, that's great. It's your opinion.
The reality is our page is extremely diverse.
Yeah.
We have, if anyone just looks through our members, you'll see we're very balanced between Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, you name it. We're in there. And nobody has a race on our page. Everyone has an opinion, and that's what we deal in. Thoughts, ideas, opinions, and solutions. We're not getting hung up on, oh, did it come from a black person or a white person? We can't. If we can't ever get past that, we never will get past it.
And I think if somebody paints you with that brush, it just means they have nothing else. They can't come back at you factually. They can't make a point against what you're trying to say. So that's where it goes. And that's
yourself,
a dead end. Where is that? It's not going to lead anywhere. So
we're a 90% minority city. 90% of this city is black or Hispanic. Why would we want to be racist? Just the opposite. We want people to feel that we're on everybody's side. And we're not fighting for what Mike and I want. We're fighting for what we believe Trenton wants. We're fighting for the people who can't speak up because they have jobs or they're on boards or commissions or, they can't be in a bad light. We know there's a lot of people that read our page and through us get their thoughts and emotions and their issues out because they just can't. And that makes us feel good too, that, we're not privileged in any more than anyone else is, but we understand why people can't or won't speak up. There's traditional reasons, there's generational reasons, and then there's also just reasons of that's the way we've always done it. Trenton's very big on that. We've always done it that way, and that gets Trenton into a lot of trouble. We're always trying to fight against that.
Mike, you ran for city council. Was it in 2021?
It was the last, not this interim election, but the one.
It was around that
before.
time,
Yeah.
2021, right?
Yeah, give or take.
What did you learn from your experience in terms of the political scene in Trenton?
It's dirty business. And I said this recently online. I went into it not naive because I wanted to be on council. And, I educated myself in the job, but through the process of running, you find out things about Trenton politics that it's just, if you're not, in with the party, or people like to say the machine, you're not selected by the county, you're not put on a group with other candidates.
You're denied access.
You're denied access. It's very tough. It was tough. And I came out of it just with the impression that it's dirty business in politics to get elected.
It has much less to do with winning thoughts and minds as it does with spending big dollars. And that's very cynical to say, but having gone through it with Mike and worked on his campaign and pounded the pavements with him and going into neighborhoods that people swore we would never go into and being told that nobody ever comes here, but you guys are here. More important was the experience that we got getting out into the streets. They're not out in the streets. Well, lots of people were in the streets and nothing's happening in our city. We're still moving the ball forward, elected or unelected. The reaction is, the reality is we did go out into the streets and we do listen to what everyone has to say. People like to paint us as, oh, they wouldn't get dirty with this or that kind of folk. Well, we do. We just don't take pictures of ourselves doing it. We don't turn it into a self-promotion. We do what we do for the community quietly as we were taught. That's our culture, not making fun of anyone else's.
I do have to ask you, what do you think, this is for the both of you,
Sure.
What do you think is going to take for Trenton to become a better version of itself, where you have a vibrant downtown, people are moving in, home values are improving?
That's such a tough question. I mean, you listed a vibrant you named a bunch of issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trenton, I think, has systemic problems that need to be fixed before we can have a vibrant downtown or any of the things that would make a nice city. There's just so many problems that the city has. I think.
If I can interrupt,
Sure.
What I'm going to say here is that everyone likes to focus on the tactical results, the new entertainment venues in our entertainment district. But before we even need to, and that's the dreaming, that's what gets people excited. But before that needs to happen, we need to have a dynamic, visionary leader, someone who comes along once in 2 generations and really motivates. I mean, we've seen this on the national level, good and bad. We've also seen it on the local level. It takes an individual. Everybody's rallying around Ross Baraka. I assume it's because he's done wonderful things in Newark. I don't know. I don't live there. I have to learn. But here in Trenton, we need a visionary who's going to say, we can't keep expecting transformational change by doing the same thing we've done for 40 years. And that's where we're stuck right now. So I believe that anyone in City Hall and any director can be motivated to think outside the box, to say this is a new day in Trenton. We're not going to tolerate this and that anymore. And you don't do it by just taking 8 years to start enforcing parking. That doesn't do it. It needs to be a multi-pronged approach at every level, including management and performance excellence inside City Hall. We've heard this all before, but it just never gets done. So we can transform Trenton. It's when you get a core group of leaders with vision who know how to get things done. Then it will happen. Only until then. But we have to break the grips of what's been holding us back for 40 years now. The same old process.
And Mike, how do we do that? How do we break the grips where voters in the city aren't engaged? They're not coming out when it's time to go to the polls.
Let's talk about voters. I think one of the things that I see a lot is when elections roll around, we have these get out the vote activities. If those actually worked, we'd have 100% voter participation by now. It's been decades of get out the vote activities, no increase in voting. I think you could devote an entire show to that question alone. For me to sit here and list off everything that's holding Trenton back right now, I'd use up your whole show. I think part of the big problem I see, if we're going to talk about the current administration, is too much circling the wagons and not enough engagement.
Eye on the prize.
And it's engaging with certain people all the time. There's not. If you talk to people, you'll hear that the administration won't engage with me because they don't like me. You would mention that certain people maybe get on the outs if they are seen participating in our group. I mean, that's what we're here. We were talking about Trenton Orbit. Certain council people might participate in the group, and all of a sudden they're not on getting information, or they're being excluded from conversations. That has to stop. I mean, we're a really small city.
Is that really a thing where
Yeah, and we can talk offline about that. I don't want to name names here. We're 7 square miles, 7.5 square miles, less if you count water and parks. There's no reason for our city to be in the shape it's in, and
the point is, we don't need on Orbit anyone to do our bidding or our dirty work. That's what we do. So, just because someone or some people might agree with what issues we're bringing up doesn't make them the problem. Just because we bring up a serious issue doesn't mean that we're the problem. We got to stop thinking of that too. We got to start looking at it as, wow, they uncovered something that could have benefited the city more. That's what I want people to think.
Imagine if the administration actually participated in the page. I mean, last year we had 900,000 views on the page in a year, so approaching 1 million people are watching the page. That could be an extremely positive outlet for anyone to use. And if we're talking local government, and the administration is who I'm talking to. But they choose not to.
Because I think they're afraid that they will get disagreement. And they will. They will get people saying, but you said this before, or but how do we do that? And nobody likes the follow-ups. Nobody likes to put anything that's memorialized. They don't want to put things in writing unless it's more than 3 words. And the people who do, they end up getting a greater response from their constituency.
Yeah, and I don't want to sit here and people watch us, these 2 bitter guys talking about, wow, that was this and that. It's an open invite. If you're watching this and you're in local government, please participate in the page. We would welcome you. We want you to participate.
But we're going to challenge.
But you will be challenged. Don't come with Pollyanna BS and then get upset when people challenge you. That's part of it. You should be able to answer those challenges and not get upset and go, oh, you guys are terrible, and then run away.
I have to ask you this. Where do you see the future of Trenton going? You've been here for about 30 years.
I think we're on a very clear path. And it's leading us further into where we've gone in the past 10, 15 years. There is nothing that has indicated to me or Mike that things are going to change anytime soon.
Look, we just got $74 million of American Rescue Plan money, right? Where's the return on that investment? Or
Where's the transformational
Are we still
change?
treading water? That we will never see anything like that again.
And we're going into next year with a $55 million deficit, and it just doesn't make sense.
I feel like the city's treading water. I don't want to be, negative Nelly and sit here, but we're treading water.
We can't keep going down the same path with the same people doing the same things and expect anything to change, because it hasn't changed and it's not going to. We've got a year and a half or so left in this administration. They've been in office, almost 6.5 years?
Seven.
And we've heard excuses, COVID, the last council, this, that, government works slow, it's like this everywhere. That's not good enough. It doesn't work in any other city or municipality. It can't be acceptable here. We have to start changing our paradigm in Trenton. All of us do. And instead of why we can't get things done, the paradigm shift has to be over to how do we get it done? How do we get it done in light of these things? And I don't mean illegally either. There's a way to get it done legally and
I was just
right.
going to say that.
And what's next for Trenton Orbit? Do you guys have any plans of
Who
doing
knows?
any meetups?
We sort of fly by the seat of our pants, right? I mean, we don't have a direction where we want the page to go. We don't have a vision for it.
Besides,
goes
Mike
where it
works
goes.
during the week. I work all weekends. We hardly ever have the same time off. It's ironic.
Do you hang out together?
No,
Do you
this is the first time we've seen each other in person
In months.
In months.
months? Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, we live we could walk to each other's houses practically,
Yeah.
but we do talk almost daily. Sometimes first thing in the morning. Did you see this? What do we do? Should we respond? We don't talk for hours, but we're pretty quick, and we do maintain contact all throughout the day. So it's like a family member,
That's part of going back to what you said about running the page. We'll have I'll call Bill and it's time for a quick Orbit admin meeting.
editorial meeting.
Here's the post that's up. What do you want to do about it? And because we don't act unilaterally, we talk to each other before anything happens on the page, because I don't want there to be friction. So I'll ask Bill, or Bill will ask me, did you see this? What do you think we should do about it? And we'll talk about it. And
most times we agree, but
Yeah.
once in a while we'll say, all right, just let it ride for now. We'll see.
and we
what
might not
happens.
agree on it, So
Last question for you. Was there a subject matter where you both had to decide not to put a post up, even though you checked the receipts and it was accurate, because it may have been too controversial, too inflammatory?
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah, we get messages from certain people, and they'll give us information. And if they were to be found out to be the source of the information, maybe they're the only single source, it won't go up. And we get messages all the time from people.
And we have to be careful about, there's only one way this could have been divulged, and if we put it up, that person's at risk.
And they could lose their job.
Yeah, they
absolutely.
could, or they could, worse than losing their job is being marginalized and ignored, which is also something that seems to go on. And it's unfortunate, because we've got a lot of really good people with institutional knowledge who really can move the ball forward. But if they're not on the ins with the right people, then they're on the outs completely. And that's the kind of stuff that has to stop too. I mean, Mike and I come from the corporate background, business, and it doesn't matter whether you like someone, whether they're in your social circle or not, whether you agree with them or not. It's that we all work for the same company. We all are going to work together, whether we like each other or not. And we do, and you conduct yourself accordingly. We've got to stop with a lot of this grade school mean girls stuff. It's crazy.
And I like that over the past 5 years, we've evolved to the point where somebody will send Bill or me a message and say, hey, here's some information, for you guys if you want to run it down, or this is what I saw happen. And they trust us to do that. And they trust us to be able to take that and keep their confidence. And I think that's one of the things that I'm most proudest that the page has evolved to, is that people can trust us. And we're not just going to run out there and blow people up and put people's names out there.
We've had some very, very hot things that would be great for readership and interest locally that we're
don't
sitting
talk
on
about.
because we just don't have the receipts, or you're saying it's an allegation. We could be easily gaslit and say it's just not true, whether it is. So I said, we don't want to be in that position. We can't operate on innuendo. We used to some degree, but it didn't work for us. So right now it's about maintaining credibility and protecting that credibility and integrity.
Well, I definitely thank you for joining us, and till next time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.